Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of One Meal a Day Modified. So I am going to kind of get right into the subject because I don't want this video to be too long for you. Hopefully you're having a great day and remembering that your health is your wealth. So along those lines, one of the reasons I started intermittent fasting is because it was suggested more than on one occasion that I should eat like 5 to 7 small meals a day. Because I used to eat really late in the evening and I would eat pretty much one large meal a day. However, the meal was usually whatever I desired. Like in our family, that's what we would do. If you want some sort of Alfredo every day, if you want jambalaya, of course with an Alfredo added, every day. If you wanted the fanciest pizza, not the garbage stuff, you could do that. And it went on and on and on. So we were not eating as healthy as we could. So I knew something had to drastically change. Otherwise, I wasn't putting my health first. Plus, I felt that I was getting like sick more often. And also, I just wanted more energy. And I want to live to see my grandchildren, which I don't have yet, become at least middle-aged people. So what I decided to try is intermittent fasting, or having one meal a day, in my case with modifications. That's why the name of the channel is One Meal a Day Modified. So first of all, let's talk about, or second of all, today's meal. I am having mango. This doesn't look right, but it is. It's actually pretty soft. Plum. My mother used to grow plums like this on a plum trees that she had. So I bought a bag of those. Also, yes, my Tour de France is Noosa. So I have Noosa yogurt here today. Look at that. Blueberry. You know that usually you see the lemon or the lime, which are my favorites. But I am going to try blueberry. I had it once before. I thought it was, as far as the fruit flavors go, the one that I liked the most that wasn't lemon or lime. So I'm going to try this again and see if I can add it to my regular repertoire of yogurt. Beverages. I'm having a special beverage today. This is just sparkling water, carbonated water with lemon. And of course, there always has to be tea. And this is a very unusual meal. It has a bit of a soul food slant to it, but on the healthier side. So I have some roasted beef bones, or neck bones as they call them. And all they are is basically the vertebrae of the cow that has been chopped up. A lot of people put these in stews and soups and things like that. But you can also roast them or braise them, as I did with a variety of vegetables in the oven. And, make a little bit of a gravy out of it if you want to. I did not do that. And I'm serving it over some of my special rice blend, which I've told you guys about, and there's a video on that. And also a little bit of mixed vegetable. So, I consider it's a pretty simple meal. Someone looking at this might think that, this is a meal that took a lot of time to prepare, especially if it was served on a plate. It would look a lot better. And it actually did not really take that long to prepare. I mean, basically it's chopping of vegetables, putting some stuff in a pan. The rice, I actually had pre-made a large batch of rice and I froze it into little individual packets. So, pretty simple meal, but definitely very healthy. Proteins, whole grains, vegetable, fruit, Yes, there's some dairy in there with the yogurt as well. And of course, I will drink more water than what you see here, or at least I will attempt to, or beverage, I should say. And that's what I'm going to have today. So as you know, today's subject is how I suggest, or I should say how I personally gradually moved into intermittent fasting. So some people will just take the bull by the horns or the bullocks and just start day one. I found that that was not really going to work for me. So what I decided to do is to gradually move into it. And I noticed that more people who are trying this, I think that that's their approach also, because they claim that it takes about 30 to 60 days to get used to something or form a new habit. I don't know if it has to take that long, or maybe for some people it takes longer. Every human is different. Every, mammal, animal, plant, whatever that's on the earth is different. So there's nothing wrong with taking longer, but there's also, if you can get into it sooner and you can stick with it, that's the thing. With the intermittent fasting, it's really a lifestyle change. Can you do this for the long haul? And also, can you be flexible? For example, if you become sick or ill and you can't consume a certain amount of food in a meal, you might have to go back to breaking it up over several meals because you're sick. Whatever that sickness is, I have no idea, but you have to be willing to adjust. So how I started is I started by having, as was suggested, and technically I really think I was having like 4 small meals a day. The issue with that for me is that I just am not going to be that creative with coming up with enough small meals to be, it's not that I wouldn't be satisfied, but I would become very bored. And plus, I feel like my selections would become very limited because I am trying to spread, imagine, if you have 4 meals in 7 days, that's 28 meals. That's a lot of meals to plan. And that's the other thing, time. Do I want to spend that much time planning and preparing all of these little meals? I know there's a lot of people who sit there and they do their like weekly meal prep. I'm not a meal prepper. I'm sort of a, let me see what we have and what I could put together that would be interesting and tasty and satisfying. So then I went to 3 meals a day, and I tried to do that with 0 snacks. And I did that for probably about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. I don't think it was quite 2 weeks. And then I went to having 2 meals a day and with no snacks. And that actually, I could feel that it started to work out better for me. I also, one of the things that I've done overall, as you can tell from my meals, is on occasion, I will still have a treat. In the beginning, I was having 0 treats. If I were to do it again, like if I did a reboot, restarted this all over, which makes no sense, I wouldn't do that because I think I'm in a good permanent place. I think in the beginning, I probably would add an occasional treat because sometimes I wanted that occasional treat. And I think that, just saying no to everything, it just doesn't work. You'll just go back to your old ways. So the next, I think I did the 2 meals for about 3 weeks, maybe even up to a little over that. And then I finally leapt on to the 1 meal a day wagon. And the good thing about that is it was easy. When I went from 2 meals to 1 meal, it was a pretty easy transition because what I would do for the 2 meals sometimes is make a huge meal and divide it by 2. So I was almost there already. So if you want a hack as my daughter hates when I talk about hacks, but if you want a hack, you know, there's one for you that worked for me. Or you can make two completely different meals before you get into your one meal a day. You know, really, it's about flexibility and what works for you. And then the other part of it with all of this is making sure that you still get in enough beverage, preferably water, and working with your medical professional, as I always talk about, to make sure that if you need some sort of supplementation, you are getting it, because you do not want to damage your cells, open yourself up to diseases, illnesses, viruses, you know, or even partially damage any part of your system simply because you're changing the way that you consume food. Even if you are incredibly unhealthy, this is a plan that you should work on with your medical professional. I don't think it's something that you should just do on your own, unsupervised, because, as you know, if you watch some of my previous videos, eventually I was not consuming enough protein and I ended up having a vitamin deficiency. So luckily I was working with my doctor who was able to discover that, and I was able to quickly adjust, and the amount of time that I was deficient wasn't super long. It was about a month or so. So once again, you know, start with maybe 3 to 4 meals in the beginning, and spread those out over a day. Do that for maybe 2 to 3 weeks. Then definitely move down to 2 meals and do that for 2 to 3 weeks. And then eventually get yourself into your 1 meal a day mode. And also, as I stated, make sure you get plenty of beverages into your meal, into your day. It's not even part of your meal. It's just, you know, normal part of your day. And also, if you want an occasional treat, mine is usually this, then, you know, do not deprive yourself, but what you want to do is also not go overboard. For example, do not substitute eating an entire coconut cake for your meal. Like, that's not a meal. That should be a small piece that you're having as a treat. And it doesn't replace having wholesome foods that are healthy for you. So make sure that you are definitely consulting with your doctor and being monitored to make sure that you're being healthy. Obviously, if you're also physically active at least 3 to 4 days a week, that will just speed up your getting back your energy, you becoming stronger, healthier. And always remember that health is wealth. Subscribe, give us a like. Thank you.